In an era when borders were drawn with blood and sword, and kings rode across plains and mountains to expand their power, two great kingdoms, Media and Lydia, clashed over land and pride. A vast river called Halys, modern-day Kızılırmak, served as a natural boundary between these two lands, but neither king was willing to accept it as the official border. In the east, Astyages, the king of Media, sat on the throne of power. He inherited a kingdom founded by his father, Cyaxares, and dreamed of expanding Media's territory. Astyages was a proud and cautious man who did not easily yield the field to anyone. In the west, Achaemenid II, the king of Lydia, ruled with a well-equipped army and a treasury full of gold. His wealth was legendary, as Lydia was the first land to use gold coins for trade. Achaemenid was confident in his power and accepted no rivals in the east. The Assyrians, one of the most powerful empires of their time, eventually fell to the alliance of the Medes and Babylonians. This defeat occurred in several stages between 614 and 612 before the Common Era. In 614 before the Common Era, the Medes, led by Cyaxares, succeeded in capturing the city of Ashur, the ceremonial and religious heart of the Assyrian Empire. This victory was a turning point in the history of the Medes. In 612 before the Common Era, the united forces of Media and Babylon attacked Nineveh, the capital of Assyria. After a prolonged siege, they captured the city and razed it to the ground. This attack led to the final collapse of the Assyrian Empire, and the Medes were recognized as one of the major regional powers. After defeating the Assyrians, the Medes reached the border of Lydia. Tensions between the two countries arose due to border disputes. Astyages claimed that the fertile lands beyond the Halys River were part of Media's territory. In response, Achaemenid sent an army eastward to show that Lydia was also ready for battle. The plains of Anatolia witnessed the assembly of two massive armies. Thousands of soldiers, cavalry, and war chariots gathered on the battlefield. In the early days of the battle, both sides launched full-scale attacks on each other. Swords gleamed in the sun, and the cries of soldiers echoed across the plains. The battle was intensely bloody, with neither side gaining a decisive advantage. Each night, the armies returned to their camps to tend to their wounded and prepare for the next day. Over the months, this war turned into a war of attrition. The soldiers were tired and wounded, but neither Astyages nor Achaemenid was willing to retreat. The pride of the kings was greater than the suffering of their men. One day during the battle, when the sun was at its peak and the two armies were ready for a final assault on each other, an astonishing phenomenon occurred. The sun suddenly went dark. The soldiers, believing that the gods were angry about the war, dropped their weapons and stared at the sky in fear. Even the commanders were astonished by this event. The solar eclipse quickly plunged the battlefield into a deadly silence. For both sides, this event was a clear sign. The gods wanted an end to the bloodshed. After this event, the kings of Media and Lydia decided to stop the war. Messengers from both sides went to the middle of the field and announced that peace negotiations would begin. The mediation of the king of Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar II, and the king of Cilicia, Cyaxares, quickly led to a resolution. According to the peace agreement, the Halys River was established as the official border between the two countries. This battle, later known as the Battle of the Eclipse, was not only a turning point in the history of Media and Lydia, but also one of the earliest examples of a diplomatic agreement based on natural phenomena. The border between these two countries remained for years, and the story of this battle was passed down through generations as an example of a moment when nature showed its power over humans and turned war into peace.